Hello, everybody. Welcome to my show. I have an amazing guest on my podcast today, and today we're going to talk about one of the greatest, uh, one of the greatest way to create value, the highest value creation, and that is communication. This is how you create wealth. This is how you create your success. And my guest today will tell us more about how you can use communication really as your superpower. So, hello, Clifton. Thank you so much for being on the show today. So, why don't we start with who you are, what you do, and what is your story?
Hey, thank you, Eugene. Appreciate you having me on. Amazing people. Appreciate having you. My name is Clifford Starks. I am a former UFC fighter, Hall of Famer. And on my journey, my story is I started off as an overweight kid and I turned into an in shape badass. And I want to support others in bringing their badass out too. And I say I turn pressure into fuel so that you can scale in your life and in your business.
I love that. I love that. Um, so I think when it comes to communication, for me personally, um, I think this is really how you create value, how you attract, and how you repel. So, I would like to hear your story. What is your transformation when it comes to communication? How did you come up with that concept, and how do you personally use communication for yourself, and like how help you with your transformation?
Yeah, it actually started in school, in elementary school of all things. And it was something I was practicing and I didn't know I was practicing it at the time. As I went through my journey, I started realizing like, oh, there's certain things here that make a big difference. And I was in a place, it was called All White Tukey at the time. And the reason it was called that was I was the only black kid. And so it was kind of a running joke, but it's also, it sucked, honestly, being the only black kid. Like, that didn't feel comfortable because we want to blend in. We want to fit in. And when we're in a tribe that we don't necessarily fit in, we have to kind of find our own way. And so what I did was I would speak very highly of myself, talk about what I could do and who I could be and how I could show up. And I backed it up with action too as I went through the process. And in doing that enough times, it really started strengthening my confidence and strengthened my self esteem. And I didn't know I was building muscles. You don't think of confidence as a muscle. You just think of it like either you have it or you don't. And that's not necessarily true. Like you have it in certain areas and you learn how to have it in other areas and you figure out what works and where you're confident and where you're not confident. And you learn to create understanding in this game called life. And so that was I come from humble beginnings and saying like I didn't like not fitting in and I found a way to find my place and fit in where I fit in. And what was interesting, it was a realization for me, everyone's just trying to fit in at the end of the day. We all want that.
Yeah, I liked what you said about your focus, right? You came from humble beginning, and what I am seeing a lot with business owners, we often focus, and especially no matter if we came from humble beginnings or otherwise, I think we often focus in business and in life on things that are not going well, right? On our current actual reality. But the thing is, if we focus on what we have right now, what we're going to have in the future is what we have right now, and it's a vicious cycle because it is so relevant to me because I'm originally from Moscow, Russia, and if I would just choose to say into existence in a way or say over my life the things that I experienced there, that would have been my reality. And similar to you, I would speak things that I want to have in my life, right? I wanted to live in a different place. I wanted to have different life. And even those at a time, people around you may not understand it and say, yeah, but you actually absolutely 100% unqualified to do so. Like, for example, for me, it was no way to move to another country, not very easily. There were a lot of like complications and qualification criteria, but like now I'm the U.S. citizen, and I think for me personally, it was so important to keep saying and communicating with myself the things that I actually wanted versus things that I like that I don't want. And with the even in an entrepreneurial journey, yes, we have to be very realistic and have a very honest look at our businesses, but at the same time, we should focus on the future. We should focus on what we want. Yes, maybe today I am in red, but where I am going, right? And if I keep saying that my business is not profitable or not like where I don't want it to be, right? This is exactly what I'm going to attract. Um and this is what I truly believe. So tell me about how you come up with your business idea with like how your entrepreneurial journey has been and like what brought you into entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so in complete transparency, I had people telling me about how you could make 6 or 7 figures on Amazon. And I was like, wow, well, that seems really cool. Like, sign me up for that. Because I felt I did it for my family. That was the number one thing. Like, I wanted to have the income so I could support my family. And I also wanted the income so that I could create impact afterwards. And I used that very intentionally afterwards because I was learning lessons as I was going through this process. And the lesson that I learned was, oh crap, you can create income and impact at the same time. You can create the perfect win-win. And then I also learned, oh crap, like you're actually supposed to create the perfect win-win because people actually pay for what they value. So I was learning as I was going through this process, and the start was I wanted to make sure my family was supported, but I also wanted to influence 1 billion people. I had a really big dream, and that dream came from me being a big dreamer and creating realities out of the dreams that I had before. And so every time I had a dream and I turned it into reality, I was like, oh, well, can I dream bigger? Can I dream bigger? Can I dream bigger? And so every time I dream bigger, I learn different lessons because there's different lessons and different processes that you have to figure out as you go through it. But yeah, my entrepreneurial journey, it just kind of like my fighting journey. The first time I stepped into a cage, I realized how much I didn't know. And when I became an entrepreneur, I realized how much I didn't know and how like they make it sound like it's this easy. Oh yeah, FBA. You figure out your messaging, your niche, your brand, and then you're off to the races. Not if you're not the person that you need to be to understand that.
Yeah, I think and there is a lot of unsaid in business marketing, especially when it comes to like a lot of business coaches. And what I communicate on my platform that entrepreneurship is not rosy, right? There are ups, there are downs, and we often sometimes get frustrated, like, well, like this strategy doesn't work, or like I just work with a coach or a mentor and it doesn't work. But the thing is, you are working with coaches, you are learning your business. And if you are not a student of your business, because your business is your best coach, is your best mentor, success leaves clues, failures too, right? And if you're not learning and not thinking, right, how you built your business, then like it's your responsibility. And no matter if your business is thriving or if you're going through a tough time in your business, uh, it is it is because of your actions or inactions. Like, and I think a lot of people struggle to take that extreme ownership. Like, yes, I might like you will make wrong investments in your business sometimes. You will wrong and you will make wrong moves and wrong pivots in your business, but these are the lessons. And I think as a leader, it is important to um really take extreme ownership and make decisions quickly, pivot quickly. Um, and if a lot, and the sooner people realize that, like, hey, like this is my responsibility, and my mentor and a coach is just there to, uh, like uncover maybe my blind spots. But even if they don't, or even if I don't get confused, like that, like I am the CEO, I am the director. Like, if I get confused, I need to get myself unconfused. Um, another point that I would like to talk about is communication and entrepreneurship, and especially in social media marketing arena. I think honestly, if I were to ask, like, how do you create wealth in 2024 and move forward in this digital era? I think right now the highest value of value creation and wealth creation is communication, as how you position yourself. Because right now we have so much visibility. We can go on LinkedIn, we can go on YouTube, we can go on Instagram, and it doesn't cost us anything. Like we just need to show up and show out. For like right now, we are online on YouTube and on LinkedIn. And I could not imagine that, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, that was simply not the reality. So, um, I'm curious, what mistakes do you see that entrepreneurs are making when it comes to like really communicating, not necessarily with your clients when you're delivering your services, but really putting yourself out there? Because if you don't have customers, you don't have a business. And to have customers, you have to communicate effectively.
Yeah, yeah. It's communication is such an interesting thing because I'm making an assumption, but I'm making an assumption from who I speak to as well. So that's some of my data points. When we talk about communication, we're often thinking about what are we saying? What's coming out of our mouth? But powerful communication comes from both our mouth and our ears, our ability to listen with complete intentionality. And so our audience already wants certain things. We just have to be open to listen in a way and then create something they didn't even know existed at one time. You know, you look at Henry Ford, he said, if he would have asked people what do they want, they would have said a faster horse or two horses. And he came up with the car. And so it's that ability to listen and know what the marketplace wants, but also create something that the marketplace didn't even know existed.
Yeah, I like that. It's when I often see with my clients, right? And also like on my consultations, um, people often come to my calls and say, well, like my offer is not selling. I
Mm.
probably need a messaging, or like I don't know, like like our typical complaint, like I don't know what to post, I don't know how to use social media, I don't know how to put myself out there. It seems like I'm doing all the right things, nothing is working. And my first exercise is actually going and doing market research, really building your profile. And when we're building our profiles, we often get into this generic profiling, right? Like, oh, I'm serving women, I'm serving like busy professionals, I'm serving high achievers, right? But we really don't go deep enough to the point that we know what they're thinking, we know who are they following, we know how they interact with other people's content. And often people say like, but how do you do that? Like you have as many conversations as humanly possible. And again, right now we have like in a way, the internet and the social media a lot like gave us so many ways to actually, in a way, spy on each other and do market research. Like you don't have like, oh, LinkedIn, you don't have to try that hard. You can see your who your connections are engaging with, or on other influencers. If you establish connection with someone, you can notice that the same people follow certain influencers, or they might even say certain things, and it's your market research, and it's like it is opening the door into their mind. And I think the more we know our customer, the know we go beyond the surface level, right? Understanding their psychology, and especially buying psychology, right? Like what state of mind they're in right now, either in expansion mindset, abundance mindset. Is there fear of missing out because there's so much good out there, and I need to make it before it's gone, or are they in a different kind of fear? Are they in a lack mindset and fear of losing what they have, right? Because if your avatar is right now is in the state of mind of losing what they have, and you market them from the abundance mindset, like your message is not going to land, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
you're going to miss them. And you're like, well, that's really nice, but like, I didn't have sales in like 3 months, and I'm kind of thinking how to save my business. Like, I don't need another million in my business. I don't need another zero. Like, I would like to keep all of the zeros that I have right now. So curious, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I love that. And what I like to say is we actually know what to do. I'm a big believer in that. And what I mean by that is, have we learned how to walk? Have we gotten in relationships? Have we gotten married? Have we done certain things? And then I ask the question, well, how did we do that? Like, how did we go about that? And so when we take the time to really understand our audience, we don't walk up to the first man or woman and say, "Hey, want to get married?" Probably because we already know the answer. And so in business, if you're not actually taking the time to really hear your audience, well, then you don't even know what to really offer them. And even if you're offering the right thing, but you're not offering it to the way that they're going to hear it and understand it, well, it doesn't matter. And so I love the market research that you talk about, because it literally it warms it up for you and for them. It's actually a win-win. So you can understand them in a way that you can, as I was talking about, communicate using your ears and using your mouth in an effective way, so that you can have transformation and transaction, because both are important to have. Like you want both of those things happening in your business so that you can really serve people at the highest level.
Yeah, absolutely. And another point that I would like to bring in our interview. So what difference are you personally noticing when it comes to market, let's say 2023 last year, or maybe a little bit of 2022 and 2024? Because what I'm noticing, right? I'm noticing there's slight market shift or market fit shift, right?
Mhm.
Meaning a lot of people, because of the economic changes, a lot of people who you would be really good fit, or like a rather pretty fair fit, are not quite fit anymore. And also, uh, another shift I'm seeing, that a lot of higher elevated buyers, they are actually underserved, because there's so many business owners are offering elementary level solution, while leaders, right, more elevated leaders, like sort of underserved. So curious, what changes are you seeing? Like, is it more difficult to like market or to sell, or do you see a slowdown how people making a decision, and how communication actually can play a role in that?
Yeah, so I'll give an example with the moving industry. and the real estate industry, like the moving industry was booming around COVID time, absolutely booming. And then the slowdown started happening around late 2023 to 2024. Um, and they were starting to tighten their wallets. And the other thing that I noticed is it also comes down to the cycle. Like in the summer, they're crushing it. And in the wintertime, things start to slow down. And the same thing happened with the real estate industry where they're crushing it for a bit. And then that started slowing down. And where my mind would go, because life's a game of innovation. And the most dangerous thing we can have is sitting on our success, saying, well, I was successful now and I'll be successful again with the same exact thing that I did. Like, good luck. Life is constantly changes. The market is constantly changing. And so what I've noticed is it's asking yourself, okay, what are the new solutions that I can serve to a new marketplace? Because the market is always changing. And going back to the car situation, like at one time there were black cars and white cars. Those were the options. And then they were different color cars. And then they started introducing trucks. And then they started introducing Beetle. And it was one of those things where um, one of my mentors, he said this, and I absolutely love it. He said, don't split the pie, create a pie maker. And so a pie maker is like, okay, what does the marketplace desire right now? And how can I be innovative enough to put it in front of the marketplace in a unique enough way to where people go, well, I could use that or I want that.
Yeah, I like that. Also, I think in particular in mentorship or online education industry, right? Like different boot camps, different courses, coaching. I think with the rise of AI and actually quite significant improvement in AI, right? The way we market, like, because before it was simply people would come to mentors, coaches, boot camps, they would buy courses because they would need that information, right? But right now, if you are fairly familiar with AI and how to prompt it and like what to ask, how to ask, right? And which is again information is available, you can get that information faster and sometimes better quality. So, and I think back to your point, the industry has to innovate too, right? Like what we can offer beyond courses. Because for me, like I don't want my clients just to sit there and I don't want to create another Netflix and chill or another like modules for people just to watch because like it's fairly the same information for me, like what ChatGPT right now can't do what I do. Like, first of all, create human connection and really provide really high level of support. Also, ChatGPT can't really look into person's strategy and really social network and advice from the human perspective. It will use certain analysis, but there is a meaning beyond just like comments. There's a meaning beyond just profile. There's certain things that you get intuitively, and when you work with people and actually looking at their business, um you can provide more intuitive insights. So curious, how those changes like affecting your services in particular. Are you seeing the same shifts like for your particular business, or is it a little different?
I am absolutely loving it because the best way that I could explain it, the beach has waves and the waves come and the waves go. And ultimately, it's not about the waves or the beach or which beach you're at or what or how high the waves get. It's about the professional who's riding the wave. And if you know how to ride the wave effectively, you can look graceful on the wave. and you can look graceful when the wave is coming down, and you can find a new wave. And so I think like I am so excited because I'm constantly growing myself. Because I go, oh, this is an internal game. It has nothing to do with all the stuff. It's who are you now that this stuff is here? It's opportunity. AI is an opportunity. It's a gold mine for people who know what to look for. And for people who don't know what to look for, they're going to get crushed. And I really want everybody to win. Like I want everybody to win. But just like it takes me back to me as a personal trainer, me having the desire for everyone to win didn't mean that they would win. It didn't mean they were going to wake up during the day. Didn't mean they were going to exercise. It didn't mean they were going to eat the way that they needed to eat. It didn't mean any of that stuff. And so I look at it and I go, wow, like just honestly, I'm grateful to be in America. I am. And it gets really kind of interesting to me because there is some tension going on. You know, it'd be crazy for me not to admit that it exists. But I'm so excited and grateful because there's opportunities everywhere all the time if you're conditioned to look for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you're right. Like really use the wave, right? And also another I was talking in another live stream that the universal law of our in our universe at least is the rhythm. So, and what is the rhythm? And rhythm is seasonality, right? And this is what you can do in your business when you are profitable. How do you use that profit? Because it's simply impossible for you to grow every single year and expand every single year. It can actually damage your company like at some point if you're not mindful. So how do you prepare in advance for years of expansion and for maintenance years, right? In the years of expansion, do you have enough fuel? Do you have enough um resources to provide you rather stable, successful maintenance year? Because also, um, for many solopreneurs or for many small businesses, when it's a very lean team, like we are humans. At some point we will want to take sabbatical. At some point we will want to take a break. At some point we will want to like just sit down and realize is this business even in alignment with what I want? What is my business owner intent for this season of the business I am in? Am I wanna do I want to build an empire, or do I want to descale and create more intimate business model, which is there's no right or wrong answers. Um, I like that. So I often ask my guest, I like to flip the tables and actually have my guests ask me questions. So curious what questions you might have for me.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. That's cool. So, what is your mission and what is your vision?
So, my mission is to elevate Black wealth. And that is absolutely my mission because I will tell you why. 11 years ago, when I moved to the United States, the only community pretty much that accepted me as a human being was the Black community, right? And also, when I opened my doors for my business, especially when I made a pivot,
Mhm.
um, the pretty much the only people who came as customers and people who achieved great results were Black and Latino entrepreneurs. And a lot of those business owners, like they decided to start their businesses because with the system, with the things how they are right now, it is the only way to build really generational wealth and start building generational blessings to show examples to your family what is available for them, right? That it's not always a cut like a cap by like I don't know a corporation by when like you said somebody will tell you how much like you're going to make, and that's it. As an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, you can actually create your own wealth. You can actually create your own world that you desire. So this is my vision. That like this is my deeper why because I normally don't use words like give back to the community because community didn't give me anything normally, but in this particular instance, I want to give back to the community for the love, for acceptance, for friendships, for support. Because, like, it's hard enough to be in another country, and it's more hard, and it's especially hard to find your tribe, to find your community. And sometimes people who look and sound like you don't accept you anyway. So, and my vision is create as many entrepreneurs, purpose-driven entrepreneurs, value-driven entrepreneurs as humanly possible, and make it in a way where I can look at their businesses. And I understand I can't help like everybody, so it's working with high achievers, with highly motivated people working side by side like on their businesses and really create that like those elevated entrepreneurs. That's it.
I love that. That's awesome. Okay. And then how long have you had this vision for?
So I so when I was in tech, right, I was seeing certain things that I was not happy with. Like, for example, the pay gap between white engineers and black engineers. Not everywhere, right? Like, not everywhere, but like I noticed the gap because I don't know about everybody else. Like, I will talk about how much people make because, like, I think it is important conversation to have so employers have more awareness that like we actually talk, we actually know how much
Mm.
you pay different people. And what I noticed, for example, for mid-level, close to senior engineer, or maybe like in between, um, for example, I was making what like 145K per year, and I met another software engineer, and he was making 80K per year. And it's a significant pay gap. And I said, dude, like, why? What are you doing? Like why is that? Right. And also like I noticed that there is this craving for safety, like, hey, like I don't want to leave my company because it's already so hard for me to get a job like in tech. And tech is really, really tough spot, you know, like, it's hard to get a job in tech for anyway, for anyone anyway. It's not like I'm just comfortable. Like they treat me well, they know I do a good work, so I don't want to elevate that. And this is common denominator. And back then, I had a dream that I will create my own company and that I will employ people and pay them fairly. At that moment, I didn't know how it would be possible, right? Like, is it going to be a tech company or not tech company? And later on, when I come up with my business idea, right? Like, or come up with the idea to build my business, create a pivot, like, well, that's actually can be the company that like I was dreaming about back then, but I didn't see the how.
Mm. I love what you got going on. It's not as much of a question as a statement, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Because I'm like bouncing off ideas from just as you're speaking. Um, this is why I want to become one of the most effective communicators. One thing that I loved about Dr. Martin Luther King, he was great at communicating. He was a great communicator. And so he communicated something that I feel all of us really wanted. He was just able to speak it in a way that made people say, that, yes. And so when we're looking at the contents of an individual's character and saying, why do we do this? You know, and I'm asking the entire society, like, why do we do this? So the society can really, so people can look at themselves and see themselves in everybody else. and say, would I be the same person if I saw the world a little bit different? Maybe, maybe not. But saying, I am the creator of my reality. I am the creator. So I love your mission and your vision and what you're putting together and supporting people with. And I'm just with you on it. Like if I could support it anyway, let me know. But I mean, here it is, right, happening right here in front of us. Communication,
Hmm.
understanding your mission and your vision, and also knowing that the Black community accepted you in. That's awesome.
Yeah. And that was probably my biggest cultural shock, not because Black community accepted me, because before I came to America, to the US, in Moscow, Russia, I was a part of English speaking faith community, English speaking church. And we had a lot of people from Nigeria, right? And like I was a part of the choir, so we would sing together, right? We would sing Nigerian songs, we would sing other traditional African songs, Christian traditional African songs, and um native languages like Swahili and other languages. So when I came here, like it's not that Black community accepted me. It's more so like why the system or world doesn't see that. Like why there's so much hate and so much racism, right? And like I can never understand and it's on different level because I think racism is true like is alive everywhere like in Europe in Russia like it's it manifests differently manifests more in the physical attack right versus just like systematic attack. It's a little bit backwards in Russia. Like you might be hired because you look different because like you are exotic in a way. You are exciting. And companies might want that. Like, oh, like he's different. We're gonna hire him because he is quite different from us. Versus
Yeah.
just like on the like when you end up in a wrong like part of the town or in a neighborhood like that can be physically dangerous. In the US, I just don't get it because it is quite welcoming community. You know, like I was working in corporate and I could not understand why my like black coworkers they would mingle by themselves and white coworkers they would mingle by themselves, but there was no camaraderie like that, right? And like that would shock me. Like, no, like those people are very welcoming. We always go out together, we always laugh and joke and having good time. Like why it is so segregated. And like I understand the history and things like that, but this is like that was my biggest shock when I moved here.
Yeah. No, thank you for sharing. And I sometimes I think like the most important thing that we have are the stories that we can share with others. And I look back, Larry Bird, as a basketball player, he was very grateful for the Black community. Um, and he said part of the reason his game was so good was because of that. Like, and I was just like, wow, respect to that. And it's just, I will say on my journey, there's nothing that shocks me. And the reason I say that I like understanding history as much as I can.
Hmm.
Um, and as I learn it and understand it, it's not to say this happened in 1978. I don't know that stuff, but I look at patterns, and I'm always looking
Hmm.
at patterns. And in understanding those patterns, I say, the world kind of has to go through what it goes through. It has to go
Hmm.
through its cycles and its transitions. But it's also saying that I can be the best me for the world. Like I can be the best leader that I can be for the world and for others as
Hmm.
we go through this journey. Um, so yeah, I love your message, love your mission, love your vision. And I actually want to ask, how can I support you and other people support you on your podcast? I like that.
Yeah. Well, it was absolutely pleasure talking with you today, and I'm so glad that we had a chance to really sit down and talk about like communication, like kind of go beyond just like marketing and strategies and how to market and how YouTube works, how LinkedIn works, how social sell, like how to make sales and things like that. It was absolutely wonderful. If people want to connect with you, how they can connect with you and where they can find you.
Yeah. So you can connect with me at on Facebook with Clifford Starks. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. But I really was asking the question, how can we support you? I because you had
Oh,
my
yes. How you can support me?
yeah,
That's a good question. Like, first of all, share the message, right? Like, connect with me on LinkedIn, share the message. And also, like, if you are looking for a business mentor, like, let's have a conversation. That's like I can never turn away customers from my doors. Like, that's
Mhm.
that that's a given. And also, like, if you, let's say, even if you don't have the need of the coach or mentor, but you know someone who does. So share with them my content, share with them this podcast, share with them my LinkedIn profile, my Instagram profile, because I would like to connect with people.
Nice. I love it. Awesome.
All right. Well, like, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. So this episode will be on like will stay live on YouTube and LinkedIn, and I will be releasing this audio episode either a little bit later today or maybe next week. So, like, if you want to listen to us again, if you joining us at the end, and really would like to have a podcast option, so let me know. I will send you the link for the podcast as well. All right. Bye, y'all.
It was a pleasure, Eugene.